Imagine trying to schedule a meeting where half the world shows up on Tuesday. The other half thinks it's still Sunday, and one guy insists it's the year of the fire goat, so time is a social construct anyway. Wars were missed. Birthdays were ruined. Someone definitely showed up a month early with cake. We sat down, argued aggressively about math, and agreed on one calendar. I'm Professor Everything, and today we'll be answering the question, why did countries agree on a standard calendar? Right here on Explaining Everything. For most of human history, calendars were vibes-based. Ancient civilizations looked at the sky, shrugged, and said, "Yeah, that moon looks important." So they built calendars around the moon. The sun, stars, seasons, crops, goats, whatever felt spiritually correct that year. The problem? None of these systems agreed with each other. A month in one place could be 29 days, 30 days, or until the high priest feels done. Some calendars drifted so badly that harvest festivals ended up in winter, which is terrible for farming and even worse for morale. Now imagine trade. A merchant says, "I'll pay you next month." And the other guy replies, "Great, but whose month?" That's how trust issues are born. As societies grew bigger and started interacting more, time chaos became everyone's problem. Enter Julius Caesar, a man who looked at the Roman calendar and said, "This is a mess, and I conquer messes." The Roman calendar had been politically adjusted so often that months were basically being gerrymandered. So in 45 BCE, Caesar introduced the Julian calendar, based on the sun, with 365 days and a leap year every 4 years. This was revolutionary. Time finally behaved. Months stayed in their lanes. Seasons showed up on schedule. But there was a tiny problem. The Julian year was about 11 minutes too long. That doesn't sound bad until you realize that over centuries, those minutes pile up like unpaid library fines. Eventually, Easter started drifting away from spring, which made the church extremely uncomfortable. By the 1500s, the calendar was off by about 10 days. So Pope Gregory XIII said, "We're fixing this." And in 1582, the Gregorian calendar was born. The fix was simple, but bold. Skip 10 days. People went to bed on October 4th and woke up on October 15th. Imagine losing 10 days of your life and still having to go to work. Gregory also tweaked leap year rules. Century years wouldn't be leap years unless divisible by 400. This made the calendar far more accurate. So accurate that it only drifts by 1 day every few thousand years, which is future humanity's problem. Not everyone adopted it immediately. Some countries said, "We do not take time advice from the Pope." Britain waited until 1752. Russia waited until after the 1917 revolution. By then, people were basically late to history. Once global trade, navigation, and diplomacy exploded, not agreeing on dates became actively dangerous. Ships needed to calculate longitude. Governments needed to sign treaties on the same day. Businesses needed contracts that didn't expire in alternate realities. Imagine scheduling an international war declaration. One side thinks it starts Monday, the other thinks Thursday. That's not strategy. That's calendar-based confusion. The industrial age sealed the deal. Railways needed synchronized schedules. Factories needed predictable weeks. Schools, courts, and governments needed everyone operating on the same page of the same planner. A shared calendar stopped being cultural. It became infrastructure. So countries slowly, sometimes angrily, but inevitably aligned with the Gregorian calendar because it worked, it was accurate, and everyone else was already using it. Here's the twist. Agreeing on a standard calendar didn't mean abandoning all others. Many countries still use traditional calendars for religious and cultural purposes. Lunar calendars, lunisolar calendars, ancient calendars, they're alive and well. But for international communication, science, economics, and global coordination, one shared system became essential. The Gregorian calendar won not because it was perfect, but because it was good enough and universally practical. Think of it as the USB-C of time. Slightly annoying, deeply mathematical, but if everyone uses it, life gets easier. Agreeing on a calendar was only half the battle. Agreeing on which day it was at the same time finished the job. As global travel expanded and communication sped up, countries realized that even a shared calendar meant nothing if yesterday and today weren't aligned. Time zones emerged as the calendar's supporting system, ensuring that dates flipped in an orderly way instead of causing international confusion. So why did countries agree on a standard calendar? Because chaos is fun until you try to run a civilization. Calendars stopped being about gods and seasons and started being about coordination, accuracy, and not missing deadlines by 3 weeks. The standard calendar is one of humanity's quietest victories. No parades, no statues. Just everyone agreeing, at last, what day it is. If you like this video, hit that like button and subscribe. Also, if you have suggestions for our next video, feel free to share them in the comments below. We'll be sure to give you an acknowledgement for your contribution. If you enjoyed this video, please check out our other bingeable channels. Thank you for tuning in and join us next time here in the channel that answers all the why, what, who, where, and how questions you've always wondered about here on Explaining Everything.